you've been a part of Indian companies, you've been part of MNCs. It's interesting because the perspective of the two could be different and has been different. What, according to you, are the different marketing or market models that are adopted? What are the best practices in this model? How do these coexist? Is there a hierarchy? Is there a sequencing? How does this thing work?
Actually, very sequential question. So my response also will be sequential.
Sure.
See, when the markets have evolved, your approach has also got to evolve. And earlier, like I said, it was very generic marketing, generic market, mass scale market. And so whatever you did was very, very superfluous, probably just, something which was very basic. Now with evolving markets, you have this segmentation, like I just mentioned, the mass markets, the mass specialty and super specialty.
Right.
And I'm not saying which is better than the other. It's just that they're different from the other. There is enough opportunity in each of the segments, and the skill sets and the capabilities are different for each of the segments.
Right.
Now let's go to super specialty and mass specialty. And like we said, these are for the chronic kind of cases.
Yeah.
These are for the lifestyle kind of indications, and for the doctors who are more qualified than the MBBS doctor.
Sure.
And therefore, the kind of marketing you need is concept marketing. What you need is a partnership kind of a marketing. What you need is not, earlier we used to have this bilateral or, a dual kind of a doctor and patient interface.
Yeah.
And in these segments, you also need the company. So you have the provider, you have the receiver, and you have the communicator.
Right.
Now, all three have to get together and support each other in this journey, which is a lifetime journey in lifestyle diseases. Now, whether it's hypertension, diabetes, nephrology problems, whether it's arthritis problem, anything to do with rheumatology, there's so many others which go on for ages and stay with you. So it's a partnership which has evolved. Now, companies have to now address this particular need.
Right.
At the same time, you have these acute conditions or indications which last for 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, maybe a month or two. And that's where the mass comes in. You have the MBBS doctors, the non-MBBS doctors, the Ayurveda doctors, the BMS and the other doctors.
Yeah.
Now, there is space in the market. There's enough space. Almost 50% of the market is here, if not more. And let me give you an example straight away. While people were neglecting this segment, thinking they just need to go to the top end, you had this company, and I don't mind naming that, Mankind, which showed people that you could actually go to the base of the pyramid and yet be successful. Now, eventually, they had to upgrade themselves because the potential had been exhausted. The companies at the top had to broad base because they want to move down. So it's a journey, whether it's bottom up or it's top to the middle sector. The skill sets will be different.
For sure.
And this is a journey where India is showing the path to the world because of its size, because of its capability, and because of the innovation and probably the flexibility that exists in India.
Wonderful. And a great example that you've given, because that's a segue to the next thing of saying, what are the key brands? One would have observed, you named Mankind as one brand. What would you think, or what would you say are the other successful brands in this, across the spectrum that you've actually defined, which you've kind of said, listen, I'd like to benchmark. And what do you think has made them successful?
With every concept, there will be some benchmarks, and there'll be some, noteworthy lights of wisdom that you derive, which can be used as examples for generations together. Before I come to brands, let me come to concepts. And I've been very lucky to be associated with a couple of top Indian and multinational companies where I was directly or indirectly involved with this.
Right.
I consider my experience at Boots, which then became Knoll and is today Abbott, as my foundation in marketing.
Right.
And a wonderful company to work with and mentors who today are also guides to me. I saw the insulin journey being excellently managed through the transition of technology, through the transition of acceptance in society where insulin was a taboo, and to refinement through technology. Now, let me tell you how.
Sure.
The most crude form of insulin, I was very fortunate to just see a glimpsing past of that, was the bovine insulin,
Correct.
the ox insulin.
Yes.
Then I was there for a couple of years when we had the porcine insulin.
Yeah.
So how we used to sell and oversell porcine insulin, saying this is far more refined and purified than the bovine insulin. And suddenly came the human insulin. And the recombinant human insulin.
Correct.
And then you had the analogs which came in. And with the analogs came the modern devices that like the pen pills and the pens and the pre-filled syringes, making the prick a lot more friendly. And during this journey, the acceptance of insulin not as a taboo, but a quality addition to your healthcare was very well accepted and defined. And not just the endocrinologists and the diabetologists, but even the mass-based doctors started using this in the patients also as a frontline option. Now, this was a wonderful experience for the country, for the company, and also for me as a professional who saw the transition and the learning was immense.
Sure.
Now, similar learning I got in a company where I was very fortunate. That was my first opportunity and assignment as head of sales and marketing. And you don't associate an Ayurvedic giant Dabur, and at least then didn't, in the super specialized area of oncology. Correct. So correct. I went there. We were the second company in the world to have paclitaxel. And for a company which is known only for Ayurveda, not for its pharma formulations, to first get recognized as a pharma company, ethical pharma company, and then as an oncology super specialty company, and that too with the capability of being the second company in the country having paclitaxel, was another great learner for me. And we went on to become the #1 company then in onco formulations and taxanes. So basically that was another great experience. And while I'm talking of Dabur, companies like Dabur, Himalaya, Baidyanath, and a couple of others, and Patanjali very recently, have set a wonderful example how alternate medicine, especially Ayurveda, which has loads and loads of benefits going into traditional Indian medical benefits and herbs and the various ingredients that we talk about available in nature, can be fully optimized to give good healthcare. So these companies have again actually promoted good healthcare through natural products. So that's another concept building that we have seen. Another Indian company that I respect because of its innovative practices is Cipla. So Cipla, we know what it did as far as promotion and sales and challenging some of the negative practices in the industry is concerned. But what I'm trying to focus on is how it has revolutionized and increased the visibility and the knowledge and acceptance level of respiratory diseases, especially asthma. Correct. So and the innovation it has done in inhalation therapy. So that's another excellent conceptual example which I can talk about a corporate. Now to mention a couple of brands, which you and me will immediately relate to because it's an Indian company which went so aggressive in its marketing, started as a prescription brand, from RX became a GX, word of mouth, and now they have taken it OTC and actually taken in by the FMCG companies. Revital is one, Volini is another one. Another brand which comes to my mind from a company which I worked in, Boots again, is Digene, which again became a near not OTC, but at least a GX kind of a prescription brand. So these are a couple of examples which come to mind immediately.